hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. This week I wanted to do a reading vlog because reading is just so in right now in my life. I have 2 fantasy books that I want to read this week, potentially 3, but I haven't made up my mind yet about the 3rd one. So the first book that I'm going to read is The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. She's also written the City of Brass series, which I read a couple years ago, I think like 5 years ago at this point. I don't remember anything about it, but I do remember being super obsessed with that series, so I know I'm gonna like her writing. Already started it, I'm on page 30. I've already highlighted, underlined a bunch of stuff. So this book follows a lady pirate named Amina. Her story is being told by like another writer, and so she's like dictating her biography to him or her, I don't know who would, to them. There's a lot of themes in here of like how women, especially in history, are always written as like subservient and like docile, and like if they go on adventures, the ultimate goal for them is to find a man or the prince or the king or whatever and fall in love with him and then do her duties of like giving children and just being a mother. This is not that kind of story. Amina is a mother and she does have a daughter, but it's not about her being a mother. It's about her and her adventures. From page 1, that's what it said the story was gonna be about. And I was like, okay, sign me up, I'm in. Feels like a very woman-centered story and I'm really here for it. The second book in this series actually comes out today, which is the 3rd book I was talking about that I may read this week. As soon as it releases from the library, I'm gonna put it on hold. Okay, so this is the first book. The second one is going to be Burn the Sea by Mona Tewari. I have heard only good things about it. I am obsessed with the cover. I think it's gonna be a good fantasy read. These 2 books are on my May TBR. I really don't like to go into fantasy books specifically reading too much of the plot. So I just know that she is a queen. Abaka Chota is her name. She's a queen and she's trying to protect her homeland. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. Those are the 2 books. Other things that I'm doing this week, I need to crochet 6 coasters or trinket trays. I haven't decided which one I'm doing. My cousin is hosting a farmer's market this Sunday. That's gonna be like my item to sell, and I forgot about it, and I remembered it a month ago, and then I was like, oh, I have a month, I have so much time. It's like the week before. Now I need to like hustle. I need to make 6. So let's start with this and let's dive right in to the adventures. Hi, it's been quite a bit of time since I last spoke to you because I ended up getting sick. I had like this massive allergy cold that I still have, and there's gonna be a lot of cuts in this part because I'm still coughing. It was terrible. I wasn't reading and I was doom scrolling like crazy. It's been a lot, but I did make some good headway on reading today, which I was really excited about. I am on page 190 now of The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. It's not adventurous yet. She's still kind of, Amina, the lady pirate, she's still kind of rounding up her crew still. We're going into different parts of the Indian Ocean with Amina and like the crew that she already has, and we're learning about the trade routes, which I think is really, really interesting because I haven't really learned too much about that part of history. This is also set in like 12th century. We are getting a lot of like hints to the reason why she stopped being a captain in the first place like 15 years ago, and they're alluding a lot to like this big tragedy that happened, and I'm really interested to see what the tragedy was. There's a level of like magical elements in this, like the jinn and maybe potentially like magical stones and pearls and stuff like that. I'm really excited to get to the adventure part, but leading up to it, I'm not bored. Like I am enjoying learning about Amina and her past friends from the boat and like seeing them all come back together after like 10 years, 15 years. And like Amina's description of each of them being like, oh my God, they're so old. And then she's always just like, well, I guess I'm old too. I just love how honest and raw some of Amina's emotions are. And I really appreciate how real she feels, even though this is like a fictional character. Like she's telling her story to someone else, but she's speaking to the reader, so to us. And it feels very authentic the way she's talking. Unfortunately, I did not finish this last week like I was planning to. If I hadn't gotten sick, I think I would have been able to do it. Don't have any other plans this evening. I want to dedicate a lot of time to this. I also want to take a moment to appreciate this gorgeous sunset I'm having in my apartment. Like, do you see this? This is the shadow of my swing chair, like the wicker. I just love this time of the year in my apartment because the sun sets so late and it like just stretches out completely into this room. And I just put up these gold stars too, so they're like kind of flashing in the sunlight. But yeah, that's kind of an update on where I'm at. I think I'm like 35-ish% of the way through, enjoying it, and we'll continue to lock in. Okay, I know it's like the end of May, and I swear I meant to share this a lot sooner, but I wanted to share my May TBR. I'm so sorry I'm sharing it at literally the end of May. I will share my June TBR at the beginning of June, but basically this is my May TBR. I wrote out this list because I have so many books on my shelf and I really want to make sure I hit my actual TBR physical shelf, and sometimes if I have too many options I tend to get overwhelmed and then I just tend to not read anything at all. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to make sure I prioritize reading instead of doing what's easier, which is scrolling. As you know, my current read is The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. I am about more than 50% of the way through this book. Then the next one, which I've already also finished, is Leave and Come Back by Lavanya Lakshmi. This one is a arc that I got from NetGalley and it was so good. I really liked this as a romance book. It kind of leaned more towards fiction, which I talked about in my last vlog. So I was hugely relating to Simran, which is the main female character. I really enjoyed how it follows loosely the plot of DDLJ, but it also really talks about the family dynamics that Simran has and how she's just like so misunderstood, but low-key she's kind of misunderstanding the family matriarch, which is her aunt. I really recommend this. It's coming out on this date. Next I mentioned Alien and Now We're in Couples Therapy by Kimberly Lemming. I read the first book in this series, which is That Time I Got Drunk and I Punched in a Beast or a Demon or something like that. But I really liked it. It's so unserious and not even like anything that requires too much thought, even though it is set in like a fantasy world. It's a perfect beach read. If you're really into Kimberly Lemming's other books, I think this one's gonna be good too. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited to try it.
Then we have a mystery, How to Seal Your Own Fate by Kristen Perrin. I read the first book of this from the library. First book was good. I felt like it had a little bit too many characters to follow. I don't have much high hopes for this, but I still gave the last book, I think, like 3.5 stars. I think this will be a nice palette cleanser between the two fantasies that I'm trying to read, but not necessarily like the most brilliant writing I've ever seen. Yeah, this is my last book on the list for this month, which I am trying to finish this week. There's like mystical elements to it. I'm fully obsessed with the cover of this. It is genuinely so stunning. I think it will be a good book, and it's written by a South Asian author, which I'm always looking for new South Asian authors to read. That's my May TBR. That's what I'm reading. I know it's the end of the month. I'm really sorry, but here we are. New location because I'm at my friend's house and I'm dog sitting her dog for today. I've started journaling my reads now because I have a hard time articulating unless I like write down what I'm thinking. I liked it. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I think it was a very well done book, but it did read to me as like a prequel. There was a lot of backstory and history on these characters. We're seeing these characters 10 years after their initial adventures, and so like we're getting a lot of like storytelling of like what happened in those 10 years, what happened before those 10 years. Because of that, this book felt so long to me. I also read it for so long. Once we got past the backstory part and the initial like build up and the adventures actually started, it was exciting, but by that point I was like so tired of hearing Amina's like inner monologue that I was just kind of like skipping over some of her decision-making thought process. I wish I wasn't in that mood. I wasn't as emotionally involved with the characters, but the storytelling was very intense. It definitely read almost like a high fantasy book. I'm glad I read it. I definitely think it's a good read. And I would definitely recommend it to people. It's a great fantasy book, especially if you're interested in like pirates and stuff like that. There's a lot of magical elements too that I wasn't expecting but was in here. Next, I want something light and easy, and it's still going to be fantasy, so I'm going to read I Punched an Alien and Now We're in Couples Therapy by Kimberly Lemming. It's an arc. I think it's getting released August 2026. I may or may not finish this in this video just because this video is like spanning 2 weeks at this point because I got sick in between and I finished a book that I wanted, and you know, I've been sticking to my TBR pretty well this month, which I think is a huge win for me. So thanks for coming along, and let's start reading the next book.